Welcome to Baha Yogi TV, and here are 7 yoga poses to do every day. For the first yoga pose, we'll get into cat-cow. So come into tabletop position, shoulders stack over your wrist, hip points over your knees. Spread wide through the fingers. You want to create a nice solid foundation as you root into your mat. On your inhale, begin to lower down through the belly as you lift your chest, spread open across the collarbones, and lift with your chin. Now, as you exhale, press firmly into your mat to initiate that arch of the back as you tuck your chin into your chest. On your inhale, lower down. And on your exhale, find your arch. I like to take this through about 3 to 5 breaths of cat and cow, nice and slow so you can feel or visualize the breath as it flows up and down the spine. For our next pose, we have downward facing dog, a very common pose in yoga and probably the pose that everyone hears of when they hear yoga. So we want to find an inverted V. Spread wide with the hands, root them down at about shoulder width distance. Tuck with the toes. From here, lift your knees up, push back through your hips. So now we have our inverted V. Here we create a solid foundation by spreading wide through the fingers, rooting down through the index knuckles and the circumference of the palm, wrapping in with the arms to spread the shoulder blades across the back, also at the same time strengthening through the arms, and then finding a gentle push away with the mat. Slowly begin to find a straight back as you send your head down between the arms, soften your face, soften your neck. Feel free to bend with the knees and find a lift with the heels if you need to, or you can ground your heels down to your mat. Find a gentle engagement of the core as you press back through the tops of your thighs, and find a gaze either at your navel or at your kneecaps. I like to hold this pose for about 3 to 5 breaths. You can definitely take it into 10 breaths, but you want to make sure you're finding that resistance of pressing through the fingers and pushing back through the legs at the same time. For our third pose, we'll take it into Ragdoll. Come to a stance a little bit wider than hip width distance. Hands can come to your hips. Take a deep breath in. Then exhale, fold forward as you hinge from the hips. Reach out long through the arms, grab onto opposite elbows, and then allow your torso to hang heavy. You can feel free to bend the knees here for a little bit of an ease on the hamstrings, and then maybe you find a gentle sway side to side. Make sure you're breathing, face is soft, upper body hangs heavy, and take it nice and slow. For our fourth pose, we'll take it to Malasana, also known as a deep squat. Find a stance a little bit wider than hip width, and then slowly begin to bend the knees as you lower down to a deep squat. If you need to, you can place a block underneath your hips for a little bit more stability and foundation. But then you want to bring your arms to your inner thighs, palms pressed together, sit up nice and tall, draw back through the shoulders. Use the resistance of the palms pressing together to open through the legs. I like to stay here for 30 seconds to a minute, but definitely see how long you can stay here. Take deep breaths in and out of your nose and take your time with it. For our fifth pose, we'll take it into frog pose. Definitely not everyone's favorite, but my favorite for sure. Start on your knees and then begin to open your knees out to the side. The important thing here for frog pose is stacking. So we want to align the top of the thigh bone with the knee, and then the knee stacks over the ankle, feet open out to the sides. So as we begin to open a little bit wider, you will begin to feel your groin say hello to you. Say hello to your groin, and then decipher if you want to take it a little bit deeper. Options are to stay here as you push back through the hips and allow gravity to do its work, or you can take it down to your forearms, hang out here,
or you can take it down to your chest.
And hang out here.
Wherever you are, find nice deep breaths in and out of the nose and take your time. And also remember to come out the same way that you came in. For our sixth pose, we'll take it into supine twist. Come down to lie on your mat, legs stretched out in front of you. Bring your right thigh into your chest, interlace your fingers to the front of your shin, and hug your thigh in. From here, root your left heel into your mat, left toes point up toward the ceiling. Now we'll initiate the twist. Bring your left hand to the outer edge of your right thigh, and then twist the right thigh over the body to the left side. I like to make a little cactus arm with my right arm, so elbow is in line with the shoulder, and then back of the hand rest down to the mat. This gives a nice, deeper stretch to under the arm. Breathe deeply into your twist, and make sure to do both sides. For our last pose, we'll take it into happy baby. Come down to rest onto your mat, thighs into your chest. First option is to bring hands behind the thighs and draw your thighs to frame the torso. Or hands can come to the bottoms of your feet, knees draw alongside the torso as you find gentle pressure to press down into the soles. From here, you can take a nice little rock side to side. Make sure you're breathing.